Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be checking out Action Comics issue 1056 by Philip Kennedy Johnson, Rafa Sandoval and Max Raynor. The Superman family continue their battle with the Cyborg Superman and his Necro Hive, going toe-to-toe with the villain in his home base as the rest of the family battle the hive mind out in Metropolis. It's not without its problems though, as Metallo must face his sister Tracy, who has become just like him thanks to Henshaw experimenting on her with Warworld tech. Philip Kennedy Johnson really made the finale of this arc feel earned, bringing every story beat together and wrapping it up quite nicely. I enjoyed he didn't focus too much on the big battle in Metropolis, since that's not where the meat of the story was. It was in the clash between Clark, Metallo and Henshaw, but that doesn't mean we didn't get some fantastic sequences set in that battle that allowed the rest of the Superman family to have a little bit of a role in this story and give them some purpose, especially Superboy, whose tactile telekinesis comes in handy when shutting down Henshaw's goons and rescuing the people he unwillingly transformed into Necrohive robots. It's really quite interesting how Johnson framed Henshaw and Clark's relationship this issue, and how all the things Clark did during the Warworld saga, from being overcharged by Warworld's white sun, the tech he brought back, and even the refugees in Osel and Othel coming back to join the family, have in one way or another affected Henshaw, and how he goes about operating in the world, and in a sense making him better. It's a cool take on Henshaw being an imperfect, perfect copy of Superman, and adapting alongside the hero to keep up. It also makes all the things that Superman did in the Warworld arc continue to matter in the storyline, allowing us to see them from some different aspects and how they are affecting the people around Superman. Rafa Sandoval and Max Raynor joined forces on the artwork for the issue, depicting Superman's battle with the Cyborg Superman in grand fashion, but I loved that the issue mainly focused on Metallo and his fight with Henshaw. John's design throughout the last couple of issues since he got his upgraded body has been just on point, and the long-armed, very alien-like design, since he is in fact imbued with Warworld alien technology, just looks fantastic. But I do like him reverting to a human form there at the end, as it helps visualize where he's at in his character arc. He's kind of shed that monstrous alien form and is back to being a human person again. The absolute highlight of the issue, of course, was John Corben's arc and his mission to save his sister from the Cyborg Superman, and having him team with Superman to try and become a better person. It's been a thoroughly engaging arc, and as I said in my review of the last issue, one that has been a highlight of all of the current Superman books, all of which are doing a sort of hero rehabilitating the villains sort of story, or trying to help better understand them, which is something I've always found a lot more interesting in Superman books. It's so easy to just devolve into action where the hero fights the villain across the city and there's explosions and rubble and people screaming and everything, but writing a Superman who can actually empathize with the villain and try and help them out and talk them down is a lot harder than people give it credit for. So for Johnson to do that extra work and go that extra mile to do that is just wonderful, and just shows how much he loves these characters. It's also cool to see Metallo tap into his villainous side during his fight with Henshaw and relate it back to the story of him discovering that he really is just a weapon or a blunt instrument to be used, and he can use that to his advantage for once. The conclusion of his arc being that he has now got a cyborg sister with him is both kind of sad and satisfying, since we see that development in full display and he's trying to do better and trying to be a better person for his sister. Also, it's just such a small detail, but it has quite big ramifications, and I like that just Superman differentiates between Metallo and John, constantly calling the villain John now in a way to signal that he's no longer that villain, and he is also trying to make him feel a bit more human, since humanity, and if he's still human and if he's all robot or if he's part man, part machine, has been a big thing with John, and he's struggled with it throughout his entire life. And I like that Superman just calling him John and respecting him as a person goes a long way to help him realize that he is still a person and is still not just a thing and not just a tool to be used. And it's a very Superman thing to do. It's a very small detail, but I really love that they included that. Johnson isn't done there, since just when you thought you forgot about it, he brings back the Blue Earth movement, a group of anti-War World refugee protesters he set up a couple of issues ago, and he teases out the next storyline involving them in a big way, which involves the Blue Earth getting ready to stop Superman and his family from changing Metropolis. We also meet their currently unnamed leader, a woman who gives off big magic vibes. She's this very goth-looking woman who is covered in tattoos and symbols, which I find very familiar. I'm going to have to look up in past issues if they have any meaning or anything, but they look like they might relate to something Warworld related, or at least the Fire of Olgrim plot, since remember, Osel still has that power within him, and that's a plot we haven't gone back to in a little bit. So I would like to go back to that plot, and I have to assume Johnson is planning to in the next arc. However, like everything else currently at DC, we've kind of got to wait a few months because Night Terrors is beginning in the next issue. At least the book got to finish this arc before the event kicked in, unlike some other books unfortunately couldn't, like Green Lantern. Johnson, Sandoval and Reynolds' Action Comics issue 1056 was a brilliant ending to Metallo's storyline for now, delivering a satisfying conclusion to John Corben's turn away from supervillainy and Superman's continued mission to help his villains be better people and make Metropolis a city of tomorrow. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10, so check it out before we head into Night Terrors next month. And if you want to check out some more of my comic book reviews, why not check out the Avengers teaming with Kang the Conqueror over in Avengers issue 2, or Amazo's AI takeover of Earth in Batman Superman World's Finest issue 16. As always, thank you so much for watching, and if you like what you saw, leave a comment and a like, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with all of the big Marvel and DC Comics books every week.